Okay, so how do I know which formula to use? Let's start with a sine. When do I use a sine law? What must I have?
If we have two sides and one angle, we are using sine A. If we are looking for the angles, we are using sine A over A and sine B over B. But if we are looking for the sides, we are and we have two angles, so we are using A over sine A equal to B over sine A.
That's correct. Now there is a special thing about having two sides and an angle. Can you have any angle? Opposite, right? You must have an opposite angle to one of the given sides. Okay? So let's start with drawing a picture here. So if I have a side and another side, so I have two sides here. These are given to me. Okay? So I must have one of these angles. I must have this angle right here or this angle right here. Okay? Because these are the opposite angles to the given side. Right? So I'm gonna just erase this for now. Okay? So the ones is two sides and an opposite angle. It's very important that it's an opposite angle. Okay? So I have two sides and an opposite angle, and I'm looking for a side. Looking for an angle. Looking for an angle. Okay? So let's say this is given to you, right? And these two are given, right? So which, I'm gonna call it A, B, C, right? So angle C is given to you, side C is given to you, side B is given to you, right? What angle can you look for? What angle can you solve for?
A.
Angle B.
B. So it's opposite, right?
Because you know side C.
Right.
Okay? So you know angle C, you know side C. You know side B, so you can look for angle B. That's the only angle you can solve for as of now. Okay? You guys understand that? So I'm looking for an angle. The formula that I have to use is sine A over A equals sine B over B equals sine C over C. Okay? So that's when I'm given two sides. So I have side angle or angle sides.
Was angle A given?
Sorry?
Angle A, was it given?
No, A is not given, right? And right now, I don't need A and I'm not solving for A. Okay? So the only thing that's given to me is side B and side C and angle C. Angle C is opposite to side C, right? So that's good. If I have an opposite side and angle, then I can use sine law. Okay? And sine law says sine A over A equals sine B over B equals sine C over C. Okay? In this case, I don't care about A because that's not what I'm solving for. So what I have to use is these two. Okay? I only have to pick two of the three ratios. Okay? We're going to look at more examples, but also if you go back to yesterday's lesson, you'll see the whole lesson. Okay? I know it's going to be a little bit, you guys are going to be lost today because you don't have the background of this, but it's okay. You'll catch up. Now, the other option is when I have two angles and any side. Okay? So if I have given, if they gave me two angles, let's say they gave me angle A and angle B, right? And any side, doesn't matter which side, okay? Because no matter what the side the side is, even if they gave me this side, I can solve for angle C. How can I solve for angle C? That's right, I can minus 180 minus these two. Okay, so remember this is always an option, right, to solve for C, right? You don't always have to use it, but if they gave you side C, then you have to use it. You have to solve for angle C first. So in this case, I have two angles and any side. So let's say side A, just to make it easy. Two angles and any side. And so that means I'm solving for what? What would I be solving for? Solve for a side, right? And that would be, the formula would be A over sine A. Now, to use cosine law, what must I have? That's right. So I have to have two sides and the contained angle, right? It's very important that it has to be the contained angle. So two sides and the contained angle. So it's the angle between them. Okay? Two sides and contained angle. Okay? And the formula that I have to use will be one of these versions, right? One of them. Doesn't matter which one. The a squared equals and the 3. So I'm gonna pick one. I'm not gonna write all of them. Remember, you guys don't have to memorize the formula. You will be given a do it same, okay, with all the formulas. Okay, because in this case, I'm looking for the third side, so I have to look for the third side. What would be the other case?
I'm looking for two angle one side.
If you're looking
The
for the
three
angles, you have to
angles.
have 3 sides.
Yeah. If I'm looking for an angle and I know the 3 sides. If I know the 3 sides, right, I can solve for any of the angles,
Yep.
right? And the formula would be the reverse of this, so it would be cos A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2B. Again, there's 3 versions of this depending on the letter that you're looking at. They don't have anywhere here, but it will be in your duplicate. Sometimes it is not, the answer won't be straightforward. Sometimes the answer would be basically, you have to do a couple of steps to get to your answer, okay? So you guys have to be aware of that. Okay, so let's look at the next triangle, the next question. It's asking you to determine each angle in the triangle. So they want you to solve single angle. Where do I start? Doesn't matter, you get to pick. Now the question is, what formula do you use? Cosine, right? So it has to be this cosine, this version of it, right? Because I know three sides. I know all three sides. Okay? Now, let's name the sides just so it's easier for us. So this is side A because it's opposite from angle A. This is side C, this is side B. Okay? Now, first angle I want to look for, let's say angle A. Just for, it doesn't matter which one you look for first. Okay? So let's say I want to look for angle A, I'm going to have to use this formula. So cosine A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared over 2BC. So all what you have to do here is fill in the blank, fill in the values into the formula. But remember yesterday I told you it's very important that you use your calculator properly. So B is 5.2 squared plus 5.6 squared minus 3.5 squared over 2 times 5.2 times 5 over 4. Okay? I asked you yesterday, I would recommend that you do the top first, you write down the answer, you do the bottom, you write down the answer, then you divide. Can you guys find the top for me?
Top is 46.15.
46.15.
Yeah. Bottom is 58.24.
58.14. Now do the division.
Equal to 0.7924.
7924.
Yeah.
What's after the 4?
1.
Okay.
Now.
Now, when you get to this point, what do you have to do? The second shift. So it's the cosine inverse. On your calculator, when you get to this point, you should be able to find the second or the shift, and then you have to do cos. So after for that answer. So yeah, 0.7924. 0.7924. And that is your A. Okay? So when you do cos inverse, right, on the calculator, this is what you need to enter. You're getting, what was it, John?
37.58 like 6.
Okay, so this is 37.58, right? I have to round up to the nearest decimal, so it's going to be 38 degrees. Okay, angles have to be to the nearest degree. Okay, no decimals for angles unless the question specifies that. Okay.
So for one angle now?
Yeah, because you're not done. Okay, so right now, I know angle. I know that angle A is 38 degrees. Okay, I have to find another angle. Which one do you want to solve for now? B. Okay, let's move in alphabetical order. Good. How can I solve for B? You can use cosine law. Okay. Again, you can use cosine law but with cos B, and then the formula will change. What other ways do you think I can use?
We can use sine.
We can use sine. Why can I use sine now?
Because it has 3 sides known and angle.
I have an angle in its opposite side, right? And I have side B, so I can solve for angle B using sine law. Okay? Now, if you use cosine law, or if you use sine law, you're gonna get the same answer. Okay? But let's just use sine law so we see both of them, both versions. Okay? So, remember that with sine law, I'm solving for, so if you're solving for an angle, you use the sine on the top, right? I'm talking about A and B, so I have to use the sine A and the sine B. What's angle A equal to? We just solved for that. So sine 38 over what's sine A equal to?
3.5.
Equals. I don't know what angle B is, so I have to leave it as sine B over side B is
5.2.
5. Question for you. Are you expecting angle B to be greater or less than angle A?
Greater.
Why greater? Because the side is 5.2, which is greater than 3.5, right? Greater side, greater angle. Smaller side, smaller angle. Okay, now what do I have to do here to solve for cross multiply? So what do you get when you do this on the calculator? You're looking for an angle, so what do you have to do? Inverse, right? The second shift or whatever sign, right? So on the calculator, you should do shift, sine, this. What do you get when you do that? And it's bigger than angle A, right? All right. I solved for A and B. I still have C to go. What do I do? Yes. Because I know two angles, and I know that the sum of the angles inside of a triangle is always equal to 180. Okay? When you add A, B, and C, it's always going to equal to 180. So I already know two of them. All what I have to do for angle C is do 180 minus 66 minus 38. And what does that give me?
76.
Okay? Sometimes if you see this, that means that's an angle C. Okay? Some people write it this way. So they write that symbol, right? That symbol means angle C. But remember that capital letters refer to angles, small letters refers to sides. What question?
It's not a 76, it's a 77.
That's a different question. That doesn't belong to us. There's proof. Are you guys okay with this? Okay, so your first, you have to use cos because there's no other way. You only have three sides. You must choose cos. For the second part, you get to choose. You want to use cos? Go ahead. The formula will change. It will be cos B equals to A squared plus C squared minus B squared over 2AC. You will have that formula on you. But I prefer sine law because it's easier. There's not a lot of calculation going on with sine law. Okay? Then for the third one, the easiest is the 180 minus the 280. Okay. question is asking you to determine the length of A and B. So you have to determine the length of side A and the length of side B. I'm waiting to hear some ideas.
Right, so for the side A, we can use
We have
sine law.
Sine law,
Yeah.
using what?
Using angle C and A.
So using this,
And A, yeah.
We have this and
right? And this
To solve for A.
to solve for it.
Yeah.
Okay? Use sine law because I have an angle and its opposite side and another angle. Okay? So I can use sine law to solve for it. So let's do that. So because C and A, I have to use sine. I'm looking for a side. So looking for a side, I have to use A over sine A equals to C over sine C. You see how I'm always picking 2? Okay? I don't care about B right now, so I'm not gonna even put it, right? We ignore it. Side A we don't know. Sine 54 equals to 6 over sine 77. Okay? So cross multiply. So A equals 6 times sine 54 over sine 77, which is equal to 4.98, which would be, because, okay, remember that sides have to be to 1 decimal place, right? But in this case, if I want to leave it to 1 decimal place, that means I have to raise this up, because this is an 8, right? Raise this up, this becomes a 10. So this becomes a 5. So the way that you're going to write it is 5.0, okay? That's 1 decimal place, so it'll be 5.0 meters. Are we okay with this? So now let's look at this second triangle. I'm solving B. What do I know? What do I know?
We have
I know
two
angle B
sides,
and
angle between.
Two sides and the
Angle.
contained angle. Okay? Two sides and the contained angle, then I have to use cosine. Okay? Anytime you have two sides and the angle between them, you have no other choice. So cosine, I'm looking for a side,
B.
so that would be b squared equals
Equal to a squared plus c squared minus 2 ac cosine b.
AC cosine b. Okay? So a squared is 5 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 5 times 8 cosine 93. Okay? So when you enter this in the calculator, you either enter it all together at once, or you have to enter this, this, and this all together. This has to be all together, okay? Because you have multiplication. 2 times 5 times 8 times goes to 93. All right? I would recommend that you enter it all together. Find the answer. Both. What do you get?
All together, right?
All together.
93.13.
Let's see if that's what everyone gets.
Yeah.
You did not?
No, always something.
Is your,
It's on the grade?
go back and read it, probably you did not press cosine. Because you have to put minus 2. So what do you do? Okay?
Give the same answer.
Show me. Like do it and I'll come and check. I might get you to download the better computer. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay? But you have to apply.
You entered all of them, right?
Yeah, when you did everything, when it's giving you negative number, then press the equal.
And then 2 times 5 times 9 cos 90. The square is 2. So 5. Okay, now this is b squared. If I want to find b, what do I have to do?
Square.
Square. So what do you get when you do that?
9.6.
9.7.
9.7.